Yo, yo, broskis and broskets, welcome to a certain day's bullshit. I don't remember exactly which day, but the bullshit is what matters. I'm not sure if you remember this job, but we roughed it out a while back, and now we're back to install the finishes. When I open the cabinet, I find a big mess, so I start off by vacuuming that out immediately while cursing the shit out of the cabinet guy for leaving it like that. He's obviously a butcher. I mean, look at this pretty hole. By the way, this is the job where the owner disappeared right before we finished the work and it was time to pay. He was there the whole day, bro, looking at what we were doing and asking questions and making sure to annoy us every single moment. Literally, every time I turned around, he was right there creeping. But when we finished, he was nowhere to be found. When I called him, he said that he had to go. So I reminded him that he forgot about a little something. He forgot about the only job that he had to do that day, to write us the final fucking check. He said that he would have to mail me the check. It sounded shady at first, but mail checks in New York City are very common, so I let it roll, whatever. I knew I was gonna get paid, but it was just a matter of how late. He was a man of his word though, and sent the check within a couple of days with the full amount. Now, finally, his contractor just finished the kitchen, so he called us to do the finishes. This guy took 2 months to install the kitchen cabinets, broski. I don't know how that's possible, but it's obvious that the motherfucker is very slow. And I confirmed that he's not just physically slow, but also mentally. After taking so long, you would expect a nearly perfect job at least. But the genius forgot to leave an access door for the main valves, bro. I was about to tell him to open it, but then I did some calculations in my head and decided that at the pace that he worked with this whole kitchen, he would need approximately 2 full days to open that access door. So I wasn't about to risk it. I had to bend one of my screwdrivers and close the valves through the drain opening, which looked like he had used his teeth to open that shit. To feed the dishwasher, I always use a separate shutoffs, just so that it can be on its own if it ever needs to be replaced or repaired. The one mistake I made when installing the speedies was that I soldered the T and the valves in place. The best way would be to do it outside to eliminate working in a bad position and also to limit fire inside a fucking wood cabinet, bro. By the time I realized that I had fucked up, I was halfway done, so I continued. This is what happens when you rush. And I always tell my guys to not focus on speed but on quality, but sometimes forget to follow my own rules, bro. So as you noticed, I opened 2 holes in the cabinet for the dishwasher. I made one for the water feed and one for the drain. Sometimes I just make one hole on top and pass both, but that requires a bigger hole, so my guy lost it. So we ended up doing 2 equal smaller holes. It honestly looks cleaner this way because it's more organized, as you're about to see very soon. For the drain, I installed a brass trap into a 2-inch galvanized nipple connecting into a cast iron tap T. I know, it sounds weird hearing it and even saying it, but the reason for this material mix is because of the plumbing code requirements in Manhattan. Obviously, there's a reason behind it, so please don't just assume that New York is dumb compared to the rest of the world. I swear we're not that dumb, bro. So I installed a garbage disposal here, and yes, I did puncture the dishwasher drain on it because last time I checked, I too was a plumber. After turning the water on, I made sure to remove the aerator to flush the water, which is probably the most important step that some plumbers forget and end up going back to the job for low pressure within a week. Lastly, I installed a fridge to get that out of the way. When we install ice maker boxes, I like to use the braided stainless steel flex hose to connect it because those never leak compared to the 1/4-inch tubing with compression connections. Anyways, long story short, we got it done and the finishes were all installed. My guy also installed a stove while I was working on everything else. Overall, everything went smooth and the owner was happy. and apparently very surprised that his kitchen was finally done after almost half a year, bro. I hope we can all agree that it came out looking sexy as fuck and very clean, because that is our signature and our focus.